Welcome to the Foolery Show, your dose of positivity for those dreary Monday morning blues, where we take topics and try to make them sound positive. Today's theme is tech. So first up, on June 1st, 2021, Google stopped offering unlimited cloud storage for new photos uploaded to Google Photos or Google Drive. And that will count towards the free 15 gig limit for every Google account. In case people didn't know, Google had a service that allowed you to upload unlimited pictures. So it was really cool for a lot of different people being able to upload as many pictures they want. Just kind of spamming it. And so I guess the positive side here, the obvious negative is you can't just upload wherever you want. But I think the positive here is you really should care about what you upload. Let's just not take a picture of every possible thing and just upload it for fun, you know. Why don't you store the ones that are actually valuable, allowing you to save things you truly do care about instead of just saving every possible thing because it's free. Next up, Tumblr banned all adult content on the platform December 17th, 2018. So this was a very weird thing that happened because Tumblr was a very popular service before, it got bought and it was banned. And suddenly they just banned all adult content because of, different, individual sources or funding or basically trying to uphold some sort of, content for everyone. And so this really sucks because a large portion of their content was was adult content. But I think the positive side here, looking at this, is now Tumblr is a safe place for everyone. You don't have to, accidentally stumble into some images when you're scrolling at work or worried if your kids are going to take a look at it or, just seeing things you don't want to see. That's less of an incident now than ever. It's this whole attempt to clean up social media, which I think is a positive thing for people that just want to, connect with people or talk to people and not be so all about views, all about adult content. Third one here. Due to the pandemic and crypto mining, it's really hard to buy an NVIDIA 30 series graphics card. Right now, it's absolutely insane to buy a graphics card, and it was never been this bad, ever, to buy a graphics card. And so it really sucks to the people that really want to get a better graphics card. But ultimately, what does this mean? How can this ever be good? This is just an issue with supply and demand. I think that it is a great thing because it's pushing people to say, okay, what can my life do now? It's not just buy. It's about dealing with the parts you have, understanding that, it's a niche. It was a niche kind of, hobby people jumped on during the pandemic, and that maybe it's time to, instead of everyone going to virtual life, everything's virtualization, everyone needs the best graphics. Why don't we go back into the world? There still is a world out there. We don't need to rely on gaming rigs and all these things for entertainment. Let's go back into the world. Let's experience these things. Hopefully when the pandemic times down and the crypto mining calms down. But I think it's just a huge push to go back and experience the world instead of the virtual world. Next up, a study published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that there was a causal link between the use of social media and negative effects on well-being, primarily surrounded around depression and loneliness. I think this is one of the grandest ironies about tech and being connected to everyone. You're able to see people and talk to people and have this kind of online experience. But at the same time, you're able to talk to people relatively easily. But at the same time, you're kind of lonely. You're kind of departed from. You're not quite connected. There may be a virtual connection, but there's no in-life, real-life connection. And I think that this has hurt a lot of people. But I think that this is a really positive thing because it shows that there is no substitution. People want to go back. People want to experience all the different things of life, have that social group they had in high school or college or whatever, that they simply don't have anymore. And they want to just see things. But really that depresses you because you can't be a part of it. You aren't part of it. And you're just looking at it. And it's a good thing. And while it definitely brings people down, I think it's a good thing that it does. So people don't get lost in the lie, lost in the abyss of online media, social media. that your life can be completely virtual. There's no reason to have a real life at all, and this kind of ensures that. All right, next up, Apple is rolling out iOS changes that will scan a user's iCloud photos and to find child sexual abuse material and report it to Apple moderators, who can then pass it on to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Now, personally, I don't really believe in this. I think this is a horrible idea and a grand invasion of privacy. But I think a positive way to see this is that allowing complete privacy over all these images can sometimes be really dangerous, right? Let's say a lot of people pass around these images. This is the number one area where they're all stored, right? No, people are not storing them on wild servers around the world because this is illegal contraband. One of the only ways people are, the police, the authorities are able to find these rings and stop these things is when they decide something on someone's computer or their phone. And I think one could suppose it's a great thing that a company is actually taking one step further and just making it default, really trying to actually protect kids by default instead of it being a long, lengthy process to which no one's happy about. Oof, all right, getting tougher here. All right, in 2013, ex-CIA systems analyst Edward Snowden leaked that the U.S. National Security Agency, which is the NSA, was collecting the phone records of tens of millions of Americans and tapped directly into the servers of 9 tech companies, including Google and Facebook, to track online communication. I think this is a grand irony of wanting to be safe, but not wanting to give up any freedoms or rights. Right? Ultimately, you want to be protected. You want to be safe. But at the same time, you don't want the police knocking on your door. You don't want them checking up on you. You don't want any of that. And you don't want to know anything regarding that, right? You don't want to know. But so how do you do it? So the government system basically went behind everyone's back and said, hey, you're just giving this information out already. And if someone's not, we're not doing this for malicious actions. We're doing this to protect the people. So we're collecting that information and trying to make it better from a kind of hidden perspective. Now, was it devious? Definitely, no doubt. Definitely invasion of privacy, hands down. But I think definitely benevolent. Watching people from all the information they give out, trying to protect your people without them necessarily knowing. And I think that's actually one of the greatest things a country can do. Protect your people from themselves. And all right, that's the end of our show. Remember that there is almost always a positive perspective in life. Any comments, questions, or suggestions for the next show, please send an email to thefooleryclub@gmail.com.